just prod you on the issue of district magistrates now having the power to intervene. Look, the Waqf Board has a peculiar habit of waking up in the morning and claiming whatever property they fancy as their own. They have a history of doing that. Now, if I, as a complainant, need to go and complain about this, who do I complain to? The Waqf Board. Essentially, they are the chore, they are the police. They are the accused, they are the judge. Isn't that arbitrary? So when the amendments are looking at doing away with this arbitrariness by making the DM the person who a complainant will go to, what's the problem in that?
They've done this at least once before that I remember, which is that on the Data Protection Bill, which would normally have been referred to my committee, the committee I was chairing in those days, the IT committee, but instead they referred it to a select committee, which under the rules of parliament is then chaired by the BJP and has a majority of BJP MPs. So ultimately the government would get its way. And I'm afraid that's also true if it's a select committee in this case rather than a standing committee. It wasn't entirely clear to me which of the two was the formula, but if it's going to be a select committee for this particular issue, it will again be chaired by the BJP. The only one difference from the previous parliament is that the majority of the BJP is not that absolute. They can't steamroll things, and since some of their allies will also be present, and we did see that a couple of their allies were less than fully enthusiastic about their bill, it's possible that the committee may also reflect a composition that's a little more fair-minded. And so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. One of the most important aspects of parliamentary consideration is that at least various points of view can be taken into account in the report that will then come, and that report becomes a document submitted to Parliament that when we are finally debating the bill itself, it'll be before us. And any of the significant suggestions made by that committee, even if they were rejected by a majority, and as I said, it'll be a narrow majority now for the BJP, not an overwhelming one, I think we should be able to have a pretty good conversation about that in Parliament. One of the whole things about legislation, Shreya, is that it needs thorough ventilation. The problem with the previous parliaments of the Modi government is that only 14 or 15% of all the bills were even referred to a committee, and most bills were then steamrollered through the main parliament. You actually had a situation where not a single bill actually had any modification made as a result of parliamentary discussion. Now, that's not at all democratic, and at least in this parliament, with the changed numbers, we're hoping we will have a more democratic approach to the whole process of lawmaking.